nice technical difficulty to start the pod is never
It's
never
right,
out of the
it's-
question.
yeah.
Obviously, never out of the question.
It's the danger of going live.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
really
thrill.
is.
It's a thrill.
It is the thrill.
Yeah.
This past week in the NFL, it was easily the week of the disgruntled player.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, Robbie Anderson, Cam Akers, Melvin Gordon, to name a few. All of these players are now looking for a new home.
Robbie Anderson found one. I mean, he put in
Yeah.
a trade request for himself, basically.
They
He
got
got
it.
ejected out of a
They
game
got it
by
done
some
very
team.
quickly. Very quickly.
I mean, he essentially asked to be traded on live television by getting kicked out of a game by his
It's
own
true.
team.
Absolutely.
And he did immediately get traded
On
to
Monday.
a better situation, actually.
Right.
But he has just every single wide receiver you could ever ask for to be going against. You know, Greg Dortch.
Yeah, D-Hop back.
Yeah, now
Knox
with
back.
Hollywood Brown down that spot for Robbie
Mhm.
Anderson is looking pretty nice. It's looking like a good trade for the Cardinals, too.
We'll see. We'll see.
So this past week, favorites went 7-7. Finally, an even week for the favorites this NFL season. They've been down every single week so far this season, and an even week for the home teams. We normally see the home teams go profitable, and this week
Mhm.
they went 7-7. But something that didn't change, the public. 0-3 in prime time this past week, 5-14 on the year. The public getting absolutely destroyed this season. And so we're going to continue to fade the public in primetime bets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, prime
All
time
year
is
long,
basically
baby.
where we live. That's where they give us these disgusting games,
Yeah.
and then we just
Eat 'em
figure
up.
out
We
what's gonna happen.
capitalize.
up.
We capitalize.
Yeah. I mean, they keep
like a
throwing
pizza.
them at us.
It's like a pizza.
Patriots, Bears on Monday
It's
night.
a pizza. We're gonna
Yeah.
watch
Why
it.
are the Bears in prime time so much?
These Thursday night football games are like pizza. We're gonna watch it no matter what. It's gonna be good. We're gonna be fine. But I mean,
Can I do a quick story time about where I
Some are
watched
better
the
than others.
Thursday night game?
where?
So I was driving to Chicago to get on a flight to Las Vegas, which foreshadowing gets canceled. But I had to watch the Bears game at the Chicago airport, and it wasn't on anywhere because it was on
Because they don't-
Amazon
yeah,
Prime,
they
and
can't
no
get
one
it.
had it.
Nobody
So
over
we
the age of 40
literally-
can
We
understand.
literally had to watch it on a computer.
Yep.
Oh,
It was
wow.
horrible.
So how many people were gathered around your computer?
At least 20.
Oh, wow. Was it a good atmosphere? Like,
No, I mean
So-
the Bears lost.
were they Bears fans?
Yeah, it was really negative.
Yeah, my
And
dad.
then
was
and then our
not
flight
happy.
immediately got canceled. It was bad
Ugh.
vibes.
That's
Yeah.
really
So
bad.
the Bears somehow are in prime time again this week. Not playing on Thursday night football, playing on Monday night football. But the
Yeah.
Thursday night game this week is Saints in Arizona
Um,
against the
So
Cardinals.
speaking about Thursday night, so what happened about that last game?
Oh yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Jimmy has this lock of the week on his mask. And we told Jimmy that he wasn't allowed to show his face on the podcast until he got one right. And
Gotta
he
go against the Bears.
finally in week 7 got a lock right. So Jimmy can take off the mask finally.
Here we go, folks.
The unmasking.
Hello, it's me, Jimmy Football.
That being said, if you lose this week, the mask is
Oh,
going
it's
back
right
on.
back on.
Oh,
Right back on. Yeah,
well, I'll have to find out who my.
it's a carrot and a stick.
Yeah. So, you know, the FaceTime could be short-lived.
Yeah.
So Thursday night football this week, Saints, Cardinals. We have the Saints at +2.5 with 33% of the public. The Cardinals have been really disappointing this season. And the Saints are getting back Marshawn Lattimore, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas.
He's
Are
not
they-
playing. I believe he's out. according
Potentially
to-
Chris Olave too is playing.
No, Olave is in. Thomas out.
Oh,
Thomas is out.
Olave and Thomas out.
Yeah.
So the Saints getting some weapons back.
Unsurprisingly,
Um,
Mike Thomas is taking a long time to recover from injury.
That's someone like him.
It's so odd.
Yeah, I mean he's got to get out there, run
It's
some
weird.
slants.
It's weird.
He's got to run some more slants.
I mean, he's just a guy
Maybe
that
he'll be
really has
back.
played a lot over the last couple of years.
He'll be
it's
back
Yeah.
odd to
on
see
time.
him on the sideline injured.
He'll be back week 10, I'd say. Maybe.
Well,
If
I
we-
mean, that's in
if
3
that.
weeks.
yeah.
Yeah, so we like the Saints in this primetime game. The Cardinals are kind of trading Marquise Brown for Robbie Anderson, getting D-Hop back.
I mean, that's an upgrade.
Definitely an upgrade, but they haven't been great this year. Although Kyler Murray is significantly better when Hopkins is playing.
Yes, and okay, like we need to consider the implications of him playing on Thursday night. He's staring at a full weekend of just COD time. Just Kyler playing COD. He just needs to fucking win on Thursday night, and they're gonna let him play COD all weekend. He knows that.
Yeah,
If
If he
that's kinda
loses, he's
fair.
gonna have to watch film all weekend.
That's true.
The Jimmy
needs to
football,
win.
the Jimmy football COD updates will be back in big action in about a
Okay.
week because the new COD is out, and guess who just pre-ordered a PS5 to get it? Your boy,
Jimmy.
Jimmy football.
Seems like Jimmy did that.
So we're gonna get some big updates, and we're gonna
Yeah.
see.
We'll
double
know
XP
exactly
weekend.
what's going on each weekend.
So
Yes.
we're gonna have to keep that into consideration.
We're gonna
at all
really
times.
zone in on the Cardinals.
Oh,
Absolutely.
of course. Well, the thing
But-
is, we
but-
have the Saints.
Yeah, but okay. The thing is, I will say the one I like the pick of the Saints because the Cardinals have sucked, and I love fading the public in prime time.
Yeah.
I think D-Hop is going to come back, and because he's healthy and hasn't done anything for 6
He
weeks,
thinks he has something to prove.
well, and he's just like fresh.
Right.
Like think every week,
and he's
every
stronger.
year, players blow up in week one just because like they haven't played all year and they're pumped to get out
Right.
there. Like everybody else is like injured and tired, and he's just like fresh, like off the steroids. Like he's just gonna be solid.
He's gonna be stronger too.
I feel like he's gonna be good.
Well, I don't know if he's going to be stronger.
Well, yeah,
I
he
don't know.
might be weaker because he's not taking steroids anymore. But he did recently take steroids. So
yeah,
that's
so I mean,
probably
maybe
still
he'll have
helping.
some leftover juice.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
could still be.
I don't know
in the
how
system.
steroids
Yeah,
work.
I really don't either. So I think
Maybe
Jimmy,
I'll have to try some and I'll
We
let you
might
guys
have
know.
to use Jimmy as a lab rat.
for next week though.
Yeah, SARMs.
We'll lock.
We
we'll
give
talk.
Jimmy
So-
SARMs.
Moving on to Sunday, pretty good Sunday slate this week, and we have actually our first scary selection this week, kicking off the Sunday slate. So our scary selection is the Giants plus 3.5 in Jacksonville
Oh,
against the Jaguars with 63% of the public. It's hard to get behind the Giants. I know their record is good. I know Dable is a favorite for Coach of the Year right now, but it just doesn't feel like
They're due.
they're that great.
They're due for a loss, and it's just bound to happen at any point now because, I mean, they're on a hot streak. But I mean, their roster's been playing really well together, but they're not really that deep. I mean, I don't know if they can really be in the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see down the line how they perform.
but
And I don't know.
But
Maybe
the thing
they'll
is
lose this
that Dable's got his finger on the pulse of this team. Like
That's
he
true.
knows what stupid play calls to run that are actually going to work.
week. Absolutely.
Like he knows when to dial up the Wildcat, and for some reason have Saquon handed off to Matt Breida, and it's effective.
Yeah, I mean it works.
Like it's
That's
crazy. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
I mean, and
the
we do
Jags
have
are
the
nothing
Giants this
special.
week. We do have the Giants this week because
The
they are
Jags are
better
bad.
than the Jaguars.
Yeah.
And Brian Dable does have the team playing really motivated football. So I like the
They
Giants.
don't even
this
have
week
to
at
win.
plus 3.5.
They don't have to
but-
win. They just need to cover.
Right.
It
Great
is
teams
scary.
It's a
that
field
they're-
goal and
It
a
is
half.
scary that they're going, on the road. Jags coming off a loss. Giants coming off multiple big wins where they came
Yeah.
from behind to win.
And this feels like a trap line. That's kind of why it's the scary selection.
Mhm. But they are better,
Yeah, but they are better.
and they're definitely like
Yeah.
the more fundamentally.
Feels like
sound
Vegas
team.
is up to something.
Right. Vegas is definitely onto something, and the public it seems to be onto something too, riding the Giants.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next one, we got the Lions at plus 7.5 in Dallas playing the Cowboys. Dak Prescott expected to play, but the Lions are finally healthy. DeAndre Swift is expected to play. DJ Chark's coming back, and the Cowboys are expecting a lot from Dak's return, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to deliver.
Yeah, I mean, I like that it's in Dallas, and I like that the Lions' defense isn't good.
Yeah, we're
Oh.
getting a touchdown and
It's
a hook,
kind of
too,
it's kind of like the perfect situation for the Cowboys to win,
which is
but
why
I don't know if it's the perfect situation for them to cover 7.5.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
it is.
The Lions are scrappy, other than that Patriots game where they just mercied themselves and just
Right, and
literally
they just
didn't
stopped
score.
trying.
Yeah. In all the other games, they've at least come from behind and like made the game close. It's like even though 7.5, it doesn't seem like that much. Like that's basically going to be alive like the whole game with the
Yeah.
Lions. They could backdoor cover that at any moment.
And I think the Lions could get up in this game early because they're coming fresh off the bye.
Yeah, I think that is a huge advantage.
And coming off a huge loss, I mean, they're going to need to play well. And
Oh,
I think the boys are going to be rallied.
Yeah, so our next game we have the Chargers minus 6.5 coming off a short week at home against the Seahawks. 12% of the public thinks the Chargers are going to cover by a touchdown. That's mainly because the Seahawks have been really, overperforming this year. They're outseeding expectations.
I've been on record to say that they're going to be in the draft for the number 1, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, that does not seem likely at this
They're
point.
definitely overperforming.
Yeah, and I just think the fact that 12% of the public is on this really just makes me want to take it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, it's just a natural overreaction to the Seahawks beating the Cardinals last week. But I think that had a lot more to do with the Cardinals than the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Like the Seahawks aren't that bad, but like the Cardinals are just bad.
Like Cliff Kingsbury said he was willing to give up play calling duties. I don't know if that's even a solution.
What time?
I thought that's why he got hired.
Right.
What time in the
Doesn't
game
make
did
any
Hollywood
sense.
Brown get hurt? God.
Almost the last play.
Yeah,
of the game.
deep into
Okay,
it.
so yeah, I mean, you can't be that stagnant on offense for that.
I don't know. It's also like,
especially when you have these guys.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the Chargers though. But the only issue that I have with the Chargers is really that their home advantage isn't real.
Right.
Which is unfortunate.
Well, I do think
Beautiful
the Chargers
stadium,
just
no fans.
The Chargers just beat the Broncos by 3, and the Broncos do seem to have a really good defense.
And I think that getting Keenan Allen back will really re-energize the offense.
True.
I mean,
it's
he's
kind of a D-Hop situation.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Seahawks fans do travel really well, so that'll be interesting to see how that shifts the game, if at all.
Yeah, but I think that people are probably just overreacting to the Chargers playing, a weird close game in Denver.
Right.
But every game in Denver is a weird close game in Denver.
But the Broncos seem to be playing a ton of those games this year.
I mean,
and losing almost all of them.
Oh, yeah. It seems like they're about to tie every game, but they haven't tied once yet.
Yeah,
it's kind of
weird.
weird.
They made overtime.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. So another team that we really like this week going on to the later slate 425 game, we got the Chiefs minus 2.5 at the 49ers. So 84% of the public is on the Chiefs coming off a loss to the Bills in a really, really good game. Not as good as the matchup in the playoffs last year, but still
it was
a
tight.
nice
I mean,
game.
it came down to the last couple of series.
Yeah, I just don't think it's like Mahomes to post multiple losses in a row, especially when he's playing an inferior quarterback.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's tough for me about this is just that they have to travel, cross country.
It's not even cross country. It's like half the country.
I mean, whatever, half the country. And more so that the Niners are going to get a lot of players back on defense that were injured last week.
Yeah.
And they also got destroyed.
This almost feels like a trap. This
that's
almost feels like a trap line against with 84% of the public. That's just that's what stood out to me for this game.
It seems too good to be true that they're only
Exactly.
minus 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does Vegas know? The Chiefs should destroy the Niners, right?
That's fair. Based on how they played against the Bills last week, they likely should win this game by more than a field goal. But I could see it coming down to the wire and the Chiefs, needing a last second field goal to take this one.
Yeah,
but I like them at minus 2.5. I think the Chiefs can cover it.
Absolutely.
The offense seems to be clicking, and Juju and Mahomes looked really good together last week.
Oh yeah, that play was cool.
And
that touchdown was fire.
They have a bye after this game, so I think there's no game to look forward to for next week.
Full throttle.
This is the game, and then they have their break.
Yeah.
So I do like the Chiefs at minus 2.5.
They don't want to limp into the bye.
Definitely not.
It's not fun.
They don't want to beat the Lions.
So moving on, we got the Steelers on Sunday Night Football in Miami against the Dolphins with Tua coming back. Although the Steelers are definitely the worst team, the public has the Dolphins, so we're going to go ahead and continue to fade the public. I really don't think Pittsburgh has much of a chance in this game coming off their massive win against the Bucs and Brady.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty stunned by that from the Steelers, but I think that's kind of what we should just expect from Mike Tomlin teams. I don't know if he's going to go 500 this year, but he's going to win more games than you think.
He's going to overachieve. I mean, this roster is not. This is not even a top 20 roster, maybe even a top 25. I mean, this is just what he's working with, what he's got. I mean, he's really good.
Yeah, the Dolphins were 0-3 without Tua, so hopefully he can provide that spark.
I mean, I do think the Dolphins will win this, but 7.5 is just kind of a lot.
A lot of over a touchdown lines this week.
They're going to try to rally around Tua.
They got destroyed by the Bills, but I think that was kind of an aberration. The Bills are just probably the best team in the NFL.
Right.
Absolutely.
So moving on to Monday Night Football, really a barn burner of a matchup. Somehow the Bears with another primetime game.
Last of the season.
In New England against the Patriots with 20% of the public on the Bears, which means we are hammering the Bears. The Patriots look like an elite football team with Bailey Zappi. But they
He might be
haven't
the guy.
they haven't
could be
really
a guy.
played an elite defense yet. And I
the
think-
Bears are not elite.
I think
They're
this is
not.
at least a test.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the same thing. Like
They
the
have the
Patriots
Bears
are probably going to win, but like it's weird to see them getting 7.5 points with like a random rookie quarterback.
The Bears are stingy. Like they're gonna play really hard, but I mean, I don't know if they've been covering it all this year, but last year they covered a decent amount of their games.
Yeah, I just think if the Bears offense can get into rhythm with the run game, like they have a chance to even win the game.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think the Patriots are playing good football.
The
I mean,
problem with
yeah.
the problem with the Thursday night game is they started off passing too much and didn't let the run game develop at all, and it was just an absolute shit show.
Yeah. So speaking of a shit show, the
Mhm.
easy money lay this year is now 0-4-6.
That's a shit show.
That doesn't sound
That's
like
a shit
too
show.
easy money. Good thing we hit a Hungry Dogs parlay. So
That's the one thing, keeping our pockets safe.
right. So that one Hungry Dogs parlay that we hit kind of made up for all the other easy money lays
Yeah,
that we've been
yeah.
losing. But
I'd say so.
we're looking to get back on track with the easy money lays. So we're going to start with the Packers money line at the Commanders, the Ravens money line at home against the Browns, and the Bucks money line in Carolina against the Panthers, who seem to be in shambles right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know which team really messes this up. Ravens are going to definitely beat the Browns at home. Bucks at the Panthers, there's no way they lose that.
No.
Packers
After losing
at-
to the Steelers, too.
like the Packers at the Commies, like I don't know. Like is Heineke going to give us
Like,
some magic?
Packers coming off back-to-back losses to the New York teams.
I would say
the
the
Bucks
only
coming
scary-
off a bad loss to the Steelers, the Ravens coming off a bad
Mhm.
loss. I just think all of these teams are
The Ravens are going to play hard, but I think the Browns are also they have some pretty talented players on their offense, and I think they're gonna put up a fight for sure.
yeah, I mean, all these teams are going to put up a
Yeah.
fight, but at plus 133, all
I
these
like those
favorites.
odds.
Yeah, we like those odds. But now we're going to move on to the more popular parlay of the two, the Hungry Dogs parlay. So for the Hungry Dogs parlay this week, we have the Giants money line in Jacksonville, the Colts money line in Tennessee against the Titans, and the Chiefs money line. Oh, sorry, that Chiefs game is from last week, so we don't have the Chiefs money line against the Bills. But the last game there is the Saints money line against the Cardinals because that team has kind of been in shambles recently. So there's the parlay. Giants money line, Colts money line, Saints money line for plus 1010 odds. So
I like that.
pretty good value.
I mean the Colts really need this win, and they kind of showed something last week. Maybe I think they're going to get JT back this week.
Yeah, he's playing.
Okay.
He's expected
It
to.
looks like their offensive line
was
is
supposed to play
becoming
last
a little
week.
bit more
Yeah.
competent. at
And then
this
the
point.
Giants, we've already talked about how we think that they're just a better team than the Jags. I mean,
Yeah.
that one scares me, but it's part of the Hungry Dogs lay. And the Giants are one of the hungriest teams in the NFL.
Definitely. I mean, I think the Giants, as we said, Brian Dable is probably coach of the year at this point.
Yeah. And I think we've seen enough from Cliff and Kyler to know that they're not very hungry. They're pretty skinny guys.
They're not hungry.
They're not
dogs.
hungry. They're literally
They're
not
not
hungry.
hungry.
They don't eat a lot.
They don't want to.
They really don't.
They don't want to eat at all.
Yeah, so we're going to move on now to our best same game parlays this week. Last week, only 2-2, but 18-13 so far on the season. So the first same game parlay we have for this week is the Packers money line against the Commies and the over 32.5 at minus 130.
I mean, I like this. I mean, you're right. Like the Packers coming off back-to-back losses, that feels like Rodgers comeback territory.
It does.
It doesn't just feel like it.
And the Commanders' defense is they think they have all these guys, but I mean they just can't put it together, and they haven't been able to put it together in the past couple of years.
Well,
since
and
their
Wentz is
COVID
hurt.
run.
That's
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
reason I'm scared is because the
Heineke.
addition by subtraction
I think the
of
Packers
removing
could put
up
Wentz is a
35.
big thing. Momentum in the locker room.
Packers could put up 35 themselves, honestly. I think.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, so the next same game parlay we have is the Lions plus 16.5 at Dallas. And then the over 38.5 in this game. The Lions are one of the more high-powered offenses in the NFL so far this year.
Mhm.
But the Cowboys do have a really good defense. I just think with Dak back, you can kind of expect 3 touchdowns from each team.
Yeah,
I agree.
So
I
that'll
think that's valid. And you're just thinking the Lions can cover 16.5.
definitely. I just think it's going to be a closer game. Like Either team could win this game by 10 points.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
It's
by
hard to
over
know
2
what's really going to
touchdowns.
happen in this game because the last time we saw the Lions, they were playing without Swift and Chark, and Amon-Ra was like,
Iffy.
And the last time we
and,
saw
and they got
Dak,
destroyed.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen Dak play in a month.
Right. I mean, they looked
and
awful.
they
when
looked
they
very
did play.
bad with that.
But that was against a good defense. Game one. It's
Right.
tough to evaluate.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So then the last same game parlay we have is the Colts plus 12.5 against the Titans and the under 50.5 in this game. The Colts hit their over 50.5 last week. I don't see them putting up 30 plus points again.
They're going to run the ball more this
These
week.
games are gritty. The Colts-Titans games are not normally shootouts.
Mhm.
Normally, 21-17 final scores.
Yeah.
Very close matchup.
I mean, this is going to be a lot of John Taylor versus Derrick Henry.
Definitely.
With a sprinkle of Deion Jackson.
Deion
He's
Jackson
pretty
played
good.
really well
Yeah,
last
he's
week.
pretty
He's
good.
Pretty
He
good.
did play really well last
Yeah.
week. So we're going to move now to the player props. First, we're going to start off with some passing yards. The GOAT himself.
The GOAT.
Tom Brady. You like his over?
I like his over. Okay. He's going through a divorce. He just lost a game. He's pissed.
He's
pissed. Did you see him yelling at his linemen? He was
That was
berating
good.
them.
That
He
was
was
good.
literally berating them. So, Carolina's defense is all right, whatever. They're pretty good. But we're talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about the Bucs. This is a bounce back spot. They actually need to win this game, and it's in the division.
They're tied
And-
right now with the Falcons.
And
Yeah.
people are I'm hearing whispers in the media that Brady, isn't looking good. I don't
No.
agree with that. He looks good. He's still averaging, 275 yards per game,
Yeah.
and he's leaving yards out there because he's averaging 318 air yards a game.
Oh, wow.
I think he's
got
going
all
to.
his guys back.
Yeah,
They're gonna be all
everyone's
healthy.
back. Him and Godwin are still getting that connection back after him being injured most of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a revenge game at this point.
Right.
They fucking need this.
They need
Definitely.
this bad.
So-
Definitely.
I'm believing in Brady. 267.5 is pretty low.
It is.
And also, one thing that I noticed is that Prize Picks actually, some of their lines, they come out earlier in the week. So they're available earlier. But because of that, they're higher. So before the games, if you check on some of the major sites like FanDuel or BetMGM or DraftKings, they sometimes have better lines.
Yeah, so keep
So
that in
just
mind when
something
you're
to keep
taking
in
the
mind.
bets.
Because last week I just went through and
you
looked
finally
at
had
it.
a good week though, 11-9.
Yeah, but a couple of the bets were just way lower on
Right.
these other sites, 5 to 10 yards,
Mhm.
and I was interesting, so I should have waited.
Yeah, I mean, I think waiting could adjust the line slightly, but as of now, we have
Just
Tom
something to
Brady
keep
at
in
the-
mind.
Yeah, we do have Tom Brady.
I like him at this
267.
line. I'm just saying, they could potentially be available.
The Bucs
lower,
offense-
so do your own research, find the best lines.
Right, the Bucs offense is going to rely on Brady.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
This week. I mean, the Panthers are not
They're
they're a
bad.
stellar team or anything.
No,
But I think
probably the worst
obviously
team in the
relying on
league
the
now.
best player in the NFL is not a bad
Are they
idea.
starting Jacob Eason?
I think there's a quarterback
What
competition.
are we getting?
There's a
I mean,
quarterback
Baker's
competition.
Sam Darnold got
Oh.
elevated, I believe.
Darnold's back. PJ
Yeah.
Walker kind of hurt. Eason is in the mix.
Yeah, there's a competition this week.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
I feel like you might want to hammer the Buccaneers.
You might.
We might have to, go back, put that in there.
We'll tweet
We're
it.
just
We'll
talking.
tweet it.
We're talking about it now. The Bucs are going to kill the Panthers.
We'll
thought they were
tweet
gonna
it if
kill
we
the
Like
like.
that could be an
Steelers.
alternate
Well, the
line.
spread is.
We also thought
is
they were
a
gonna
lot
kill
of
the
points.
What if we do
Steelers.
alternate line minus 20.5?
We also
Do
thought
you
they were
think
going to
they're
kill the
covering?
Steelers,
Yes.
guys.
Yeah, I know.
That is true.
But
That
this
is
is
true.
a double kill game.
It's a double kill shot.
It's a double kill shot game.
He's going for the kill shot now.
Well,
They
here's
need
the
this game.
thing.
I mean, the Rams literally threw a pick six and still won by 2 touchdowns.
Well, here's the thing.
last week.
Is Tom Brady a celebrity player now? So for those that don't know, the celebrity player is an athlete that almost becomes more of a celebrity than they are a player of that sport. So on that
and they
graphic,
almost
here-
transcend being a human being.
Yeah,
Like,
let
they're
me
more of
throw
a
this
brand.
graphic up again.
They get to the point where I don't think they even know why they're doing things. It's just part of their brand to act that
Right.
way.
Like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more
Joe Burrow, after the national championship game with the cigar moment, became almost a celebrity player.
Yeah,
That's why he's
absolutely.
on there. OBJ is the definition of a celebrity
Yeah.
player.
He's just going on college.
He
visits
literally
as an
moved to
NFL
LA
player.
to become more of a celebrity.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is a big time celebrity player move.
So
is moving to LA.
is Brady a celebrity player?
Not yet, especially not after.
Well,
the
it's hard to be a
divorce.
celebrity player when you are the greatest of all time. At your
When you
sport.
actually produce so
But
much.
Jordan was definitely a celebrity player when he was on the Wizards.
Yeah, Jordan became a celebrity player towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
That's something to think about too.
But I don't think Brady's a celebrity player anymore because he's kind of, I mean, he's going to be done with that stuff. Like
He'll just be a celebrity,
I know, but like him and Giselle are, going splits.
right?
Like,
And that's like
he's got to focus
it's
on
in the
football.
headlines. Then.
He's going to stop being a celebrity player. He's a football player.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not,
That's
married
true.
to this high profile model anymore. He's just a divorced football player.
Yeah.
But in a good
He's not
way.
a family man. He's a football
No, he
player.
doesn't have any kids anymore.
Moving
Aaron
on,
Rodgers.
your scary selection this week.
Oh yeah.
Kyler.
We talked about it. We like the Saints. The Cardinals are atrocious. Everything is bad. That's all I'm hearing with the Cardinals.
God.
Bad deal for Kyler. Why is Cliff Kingsbury an NFL coach?
Yeah.
What's going on in Arizona? Why can't they win home games? They haven't won a home game since like middle of last year, week 7 last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But
So they're not in it.
But the last 2 weeks, I've backed Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, arguably 2 of the worst passing quarterbacks in the entire league right now.
Yeah.
And they delivered in prime time
They did. because
they had these ugly, disgusting, deflated lines because everyone thinks they suck. And then you know what? On Thursday night, the games are horrible, but somehow, some way, the ball has to move up and down the field, at least for field goals.
This Thursday night game might be an outlier. I
Last
think it'll be
week,
a little bit better.
I know, but I bet this last week, and Kyler was 265 and a half. It dropped 20 yards.
That is.
And he added
significant.
D-Hop for Hollywood Brown.
Right. Robbie Anderson too.
Nothing changed. Rondale Moore is healthy now.
Yeah.
Andy Isabella. Greg Dortch still around.
Dortch is good.
I don't know.
He's
It
leading.
feels
Official Greg Dortch
it
podcast.
feels like everyone is burying the
Shout out Greg
Cardinals.
Dortch.
But as we talked about, it's Thursday night. He's like, I just need to get a good performance, and everyone in the media will shut up, and I
Yeah.
can game all weekend.
Yeah.
It's
I can
true.
even go live on Twitch.
He
No
probably
one will
will.
say anything, and
Yeah.
no one will say anything if I won. They'll be like, "Oh my god, he's going live on Twitch. How awesome!"
Right.
Tyreek
But if he
Hill,
loses, they're like, "Oh my god, he's not watching film."
Tyreek Hill
Yeah.
streams on Twitch, and
Yeah, but he's good.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Nobody says a word.
So that was a scary selection for this week.
Yeah, I mean that is a pretty scary selection. Moving on to the rushing yards.
Whoa! You missed one.
I missed one.
Above.
Oh.
Another.
You
non-family
almost
man.
forgot this actual celebrity player.
Yeah.
I think Rodgers is an absolute celebrity.
Should we add him to the celebrity player?
We talked
He
about. it
might
this
have to be
morning.
added to the
Is he a
graphic.
celebrity player?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, does he fit in?
He literally goes on that Pat McAfee show. and
Yeah.
He just
One
behaves
question.
like a celebrity.
One question with the quarterback.
I mean, it's actually crazy though.
Yeah. I mean, he is probably next on the list to be celebrity player.
I mean,
Or is he on the list of celebrity player?
I
We have to add him.
honestly think that him and Odell are similar levels of celebrity players.
Wow.
The sort of shenanigans Rodgers got up to this offseason, the tattoo saga, the girlfriend saga. I mean, he's crazy. He should be in prison too. People forget that.
Well, we like his over yards
We like his over yards
because he's not in prison.
because he's not in prison and because he's lost multiple games in a row.
To
So
New York
he-
teams.
So he's very upset, and he's playing the Washington Commanders.
Oh,
and
the commies.
Last week, I mean, I'm harping on this game last week because I watched it at the Chicago airport,
Yeah.
with this audience. Justin Fields somehow hit his over. It was miraculous. I
They
couldn't
actually
believe
let
what
him
I was
have
You were
watching.
probably celebrating while they were all,
Yeah.
wallowing in defeat.
Exactly. I was stunned.
Let
So
him sling a little
I'm
bit.
feeling the same thing with Rodgers here. Like Washington's pass defense is horrendous. He needs to get right game similar to Brady. That's why I like over 233 and a half yards. That's not even that many.
It really
It's
isn't.
not that bad.
No. And all of these lines I feel like are
Pretty
pretty
good line.
low. Like these guys are usually putting up pretty monster games.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Packers do need a bounce back
They need it bad.
really badly.
Yeah.
Yep. Can we move some rushing yards now?
Yeah, now it's okay to move on.
Anymore?
No, those are the only ones.
Okay, so the first guy for rushing yards, you got Ramondre Stevenson. Over TBD yards.
Yeah, it's not up yet. I couldn't find it literally anywhere. I think it's because Damian Harris might come back and because it's on Monday night. But I have bet against the Chicago defense. I've bet on the opposing running back the last 4 weeks in a row. And it has hit 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, this
So that's
Bears
pretty
defense,
simple.
This Bears defense tries to be gritty.
Think
but
smarter, not harder.
They
Yeah.
can only do so much.
This one is pretty simple. I mean, I'm a little worried if Damian Harris comes back, but Ramondre Stevenson has looked really good.
Stevenson breaks every single tackle.
He's like low-key really good. I mean, the Patriots, like, the thing that's so weird about the Patriots is, like, they have Mac Jones and Damian Harris. Like, I know who those guys are. They played at Alabama.
and then
But then they have Bailey Zappi and Ramondre Stevenson, who I don't remember these guys playing, like, at
Western
all.
Kentucky,
Yeah.
and I'll get
I think Ramondre
Stevenson.
actually played at, like, Oklahoma or something, but he just, like, wasn't a
did.
star.
Right.
But, like, they just, like, they're all so good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like,
really
why
is.
are they good?
Yeah. Another guy at Alabama, our next player.
I mean, half the running backs in the league are from Alabama.
That is fair.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you do have Josh Jacobs over 73.5 this week against probably the worst rush defense in the NFL.
yeah, and that's it. That's basically why. I mean, the
Yeah.
Texans' rush defense sucks. I think the Raiders found something in that Chiefs game. I mean, they lost, and they thought about it.
I think
throughout the
Josh
whole
Jacobs
bye week.
He's
Right.
really popping this year.
Yeah, and, like, if you remember, Josh McDaniels with the Patriots usually had a stud running back. He usually had a rotation of them, but, they've got
Right,
Josh
yeah.
Jacobs, and he's the best one. I think, like, in this game, they're hopefully going to get out to a lead and just feed Josh Jacobs and, like, actually win a couple of games here.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one
That's
seems
what they
pretty
need.
easy.
That
He's
seems like a
averaging-
pretty favorable game.
Yeah,
They need
he's
to
averaging
win.
98 yards per game.
They
I
have
know
so
that's
much
inflated
talent.
from, like, the couple of good games he's had, but,
Right.
like, still, like, he can easily go for 100 yards against this terrible defense.
They have so much talent, but they're the worst team in the league at this point.
Yeah, I think like an easy theme with betting running backs is just picking against like bad rush defenses.
And, like, when they're going to get into positive game scripts where they're going to be winning.
right.
Like, the Patriots are probably going to be winning against the Bears
Yeah, most likely.
most of the game.
And they'll probably end up running the ball.
But
Yeah.
I can feel the Bears covering because that's just
Because you're a Bears fan. That's why you can.
Well,
gonna
we
play
also
hard.
have them.
they're gonna play hard.
All right. I alluded to this one earlier with the passing yards. I mean, the receiving yards.
You do have it.
D-Hop.
The Hopper.
I am telling you, like, this guy has just been sitting on his couch, probably working out, not at the facility. I don't know what he's been doing,
Not
but he's been just chilling while everyone else has been getting hurt and just, the wear and tear of the season. Everyone's
Right.
like, week 7. Like, just week 7 for these guys.
But
Like,
it's weak.
they're just trying to get to the bye. But D-Hop is like,
7.
he's had this
He's
circled
ready
on
to
his
go.
calendar for whenever
Yeah.
the second he got suspended, he circled this game and he was like, I'm going off for 102 TDs.
he's ready to go.
That's also why I kind of like Kyler.
Right. I just think the D Hop coming back is a big factor for the team, but the fact that they're in prime time on the short week, and the public is on the Saints, I don't like them to win the game, but I could easily see like these guys putting up numbers.
Yeah, and I also think like it being a short week, like the Saints like don't really have time to game plan for D Hop. Like I know that sounds stupid, like he hasn't played all year.
Well, D Hop's been game planning for the Saints for
Exactly.
the entire year.
He's gonna
That's
be
what I'm.
ready to go.
Like, that's basically what I'm thinking about here. Like D Hop, this game, it's game 1 for him. It's game whatever for the Saints.
Right.
D Hop is ready for P. Warner.
And so next receiving prop, you got T. Higgins at over 65.5.
Yeah, and I mean, this one kind of similar to what we were talking about with the running backs. The Falcons' pass defense is quite suspect.
Yeah.
They're not very good. I mean, last week they allowed Ayuk to score 2 TDs. Debo had a pretty okay game.
Right.
And really, what I care most about is just that, like, Jamar went off last week,
Mhm.
and he's going to get, a lot more attention this week, I feel like. He's probably going to get their best corner,
Right.
Double
T-
teams,
double
triple
team,
teams.
whatever. Yeah, like, he went off, and Higgins was quiet. Whenever that happens, the following week,
It kind of flip flops.
it's not even that it flip-flops. Like, Jamar will get his whatever he gets. He's just going to get a lot more attention this week because he went off literally just a week ago.
Yeah.
And T. Higgins is going to go a little under the radar, and he's just going to get some chunk plays where like they just leave him open because they're so focused on Jamar.
Yeah, I mean, and Joe Burrow can naturally find him for one play. On
Oh, yeah.
1 or 2 plays, he'll have 70 yards. yards.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like the Bengals are kind of hitting their stride a little bit. They're getting their groove back.
Yeah, the offense looked good last week.
Yeah, they look pretty solid.
So next receiver, you got CeeDee Lamb over 67.5 with his quarterback coming back. I actually don't really love this one, so we can go into it. But why do you like the 67.5?
Mostly because he's been getting a bunch of targets, even with Cooper Rush. So I think he's kind of like solidified that alpha role a little bit. Like he's kind of proving himself a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just had 2 like down games. Dak coming back, Lions defense being not that good. I don't know. It seems like the right recipe for kind of like that boom game.
I think Dak coming back is a big piece because that's who they've been throwing to all off season. I mean, they've been working together.
They're
It's
boys.
the 2 number 1 guys. They've just been good.
I mean, let's face it. Like, I don't think CeeDee Lamb and Cooper Rush probably have too much in common.
No, I get that. I just think like when Cooper Rush was the quarterback, the game plan against the Cowboys is stopping the run and letting Rush beat you. But with Dak, you can't really game plan for the run and let Dak beat you because he will. So you have to try and stop the pass, and then, you could see if Zeke and Pollard can beat you.
That's fair. I mean, it's more, I just think this will be kind of a high-scoring, high offensive affair.
Yeah.
At least I assume the Lions, like we've talked about, are going to be able to do something.
I mean, Jeff Okudah has been locking down some of the better receivers in the league.
That's fair. That's fair. I know that is.
But that's only one side of the field, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Right. He shut down Jefferson.
Yeah. But then he got torched the next week. I don't remember who it was. Oh, I mean, the Patriots killed him.
Right.
And whoever they played before that killed him too.
Devontae Parker.
Right. So we'll see how that game ends up.
Yeah, I don't know. I see where your concern is at, though.
Right.
That's probably not my favorite pick. It's more just like, I mean, I don't know. I like the storyline. 2
Right.
bad games, insert Dak, boom, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, so you mentioned this guy earlier in the show, Chris Godwin.
Oh, yeah.
Over 63.5.
Yeah, I mean, we bet on Godwin last week, and just kind of like sticking with the theme, he's getting healthier. Brady loves him. I mean, Mike Evans is probably his favorite red zone target, but Godwin is the guy he looks to all over the field.
Yeah.
To matriculate the ball up and down. He's the guy he trusts. He has been just getting a ton of targets, frankly. And last week, when he was like fully healthy and like played the full amount of snaps he usually does, he got 12 targets, only caught 6 passes, still got 66 yards.
Okay.
If he's catching, even 8 passes, like I'm expecting him to get 65 plus.
Yeah. Right. And the Bucs do have to play a lot better this week.
Yeah, and it's not like the Panthers are shutting people down.
No.
Like Cooper Kupp, had a pretty good game last week.
Yeah.
80 yards, something like that.
It's the Big Ten connection.
So moving on to another Alabama player. We feature Alabama a lot here on Betting Den.
Keep producing.
Amari Cooper over 53.5.
Yeah, and kind of sticking with the trend that I've been talking about. Guys have kind of a down week. I like him to bounce back.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, week 1 only had 17 yards, then had 101 in weeks 2 and 3. Then in week 4, he only has 9 yards, 76 in week 5. So he's kind of bouncing back when he's performing poorly and having good performances the week after.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I like about Amari Cooper is that he's getting consistent targets. He's gotten 12 targets in the past 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's getting 12 targets, he's eventually going to catch some of them. And the Baltimore pass defense is not good.
Awful. They've been awful for
the last really 2 isn't
years.
Good. I mean, and they've blown leads. We've seen the pass defense struggle when the team goes up and the Ravens have to pass.
Exactly.
Or and the other team has to pass.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know if Amari Cooper is like gonna like dominate this game.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, can see at this point, even when he plays bad, it's not because he doesn't get targeted. Like Brisket still throws his way. Like he's gonna get about 10 to 12 targets this game.
And the Browns have been throwing way more often the past couple of weeks
because they're losing.
Chubb they've been sending 8 at Chubb. So I mean, they have to just defend the pass. Counter with the pass.
Yeah, I mean, another guy that could be featured in that offense this week is David Njoku.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same story with Njoku as it is with Cooper. He's gotten 6 targets in the last 3 weeks. And when you're getting 6 targets, you're going to get more than 45 yards.
That's fair. Especially with a tight end. Like, I feel like the Browns rely on the run a lot. So working the tight end in with the play action, like it's pretty easy for him to get the 45.5.
Yeah, and sorry, I actually misspoke. In week 3, he had 10 targets. Week 4, he had 7 targets. And then the last 2 weeks, he's had 6 targets.
Okay.
So he has like a consistent role in that offense. And just like similar with like Amari, like if they're getting the same amount of targets, like they're going to get their yards. It's just like they're the 2 guys that are producing on their offense as the pass catchers.
Mm-hmm.
Like DPJ has been okay, but these 2 guys are kind of more proven than he is.
Right. Speaking of another guy that you could probably consider okay, Tyreek Hill, over 76.5 receiving yards for this week. The Steelers coming off that win in prime time. Tyreek's over 76.5. What do we like?
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers defense looked really good last week, but I don't think we need to be alarmed. They're bad.
Right.
They're very bad. And the Dolphins, things have been weird with the quarterback carousel, but they have Tua and Teddy as the backup. We're kind of, set here. Tua seems like he's like healthy and he's going to be able to sling it. I think this line is like kind of disrespectful to Tyreek. He's averaging 117 yards per game. 117.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
and this Steelers defense, secondary in particular, is banged up for sure. So I think him and Waddle are going to go off together.
Yeah, so like I'm just kind of thinking here, like the Steelers, like people are thinking, oh wow, their defense might be good. They just shut down Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that nonsense. People are like, oh, the Dolphins offense might not be good because Tua is, I don't know.
Because they've seen
healthy.
Skylar Thompson the past 2 weeks.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, like they've been horrible quarterback play. Like I think Tua is going to look pretty solid. Like I'm buying that we're going to see more of the Dolphins we were seeing the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the Steelers are going to stick with Tyreek.
I don't think they have the speed to it. They're probably going to have to, play the pass the entire game.
I mean, he's getting an insane. Like it's not like he's getting these yards only on big plays. Like he's averaging like 8 catches a game.
Right.
Like he's getting a ton of targets. Like they're just feeding him.
Yeah, that's fair. Another guy that's going to get fed on that offense. Back to Alabama, Jalen Waddle, over 65.5.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same argument as with Tyreek. Like the Steelers defense,
they are playing the same defense.
Yes, it's all very similar. But what I like with Waddle,
like at least one of these is going to hit.
Oh yeah, and I think both are going to hit because Waddle, the 2 weeks that he's played bad are when they had the quarterback carousel where someone's getting hurt, quarterback's going in, quarterback going out. But the first 3 weeks when they had Tua, he had 69 yards, 171 yards, and 102 yards.
Right.
So he hit it pretty easily. And he got it last game as well with Teddy, slinging it all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing it, like he's averaging 89 yards per game. Like, I don't know if this is the same level of disrespect as Tyreek, but like, I think both these guys are going to play well with Tua back and the Steelers defense being horrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's entirely possible. I don't think the Steelers defense is going to be able to produce this week like they did against the Bucs. So
and it's not like they clamped the Bucs defense. Like
they did play pretty well.
They held them to field goals, but they still got a bunch of yards. Like
right.
Godwin still hit his over. Leonard Fournette still hit his rushing over.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about yards here.
Right. So an unfortunate thing moving forward, Carson Wentz, our former favorite bet, Carson Wentz, unfortunately, is out for 4 to 6 weeks. We had been betting on him to throw an interception every single game this year. He had delivered
on most of them, 4 out of 6,
and he's out for 4 out of 6.
And he wanted to deliver last Thursday night. He just couldn't do it for us. Like he was trying to turn it over almost every play.
Yeah, and so he's not going to get his 30 interception, 30 touchdown season anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame.
That's out the window. But
there's a but.
In 7 weeks, we will be betting on Carson Wentz to throw an interception. So we do have that to look forward to.
Hopefully sooner.
Yeah, so now we're going to head over to the touchdown scorers this week. Most of these bets are becoming weekly specials.
Yeah, I mean, it's because they're not hitting, so it's upsetting me. And the thing is for me is that when my bets don't hit, I assume it's like this with a lot of other people, the next week, lock. Always hits, and I never bet it. The thing is with this Lamar one, though, is that it's now been 3 consecutive weeks where I bet this and it hasn't hit.
So it's due.
It's the squeaky wheel theory. Like, eventually it's just going to start spinning. He's scoring a rushing touchdown this week.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's happening this week.
Maybe he'll catch one.
He needs one. Yeah, he might
Yeah.
catch one. We could be in for a Baltimore special, a
Yes.
BLT.
BLT.
That'd be pretty nice. All right,
The BLT.
Cooper Cup. Oh, wow, sorry, Deebo Samuel. All out of order. Deebo Samuel, I feel like really should have scored last week, but that game was just all out of sorts, and the Falcons' offense just like slowed it down and ran the ball a ton, which kind of put a buzzkill on everything.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk is not scoring 2 receiving touchdowns again this week,
No.
and it's not like they're playing an elite defense. Kansas City is pretty mediocre. This is one of those ones where I feel like if I didn't bet it this week and it hit, I would have been absolutely kicking myself.
Right.
So I'm gonna bet it, and it's gonna hit.
So it's just like this next one.
After not scoring last week, yeah, I think he's due.
Basically the exact same situation. And yes, I am liking the Browns to pass the ball around. But that's why I like his touchdowns, not his rushing.
He's gonna punch it in.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what he does at the goal line.
Like I think Stefanski is gonna stop being so cute with it.
Yeah, he was.
He
way
has
too
been
cute
cute with it.
last
He
week.
has been a little too cute with it. And this is a squeaky wheel bet. All 4 of these guys no tutties last week.
Right. And this last one does not ever need an explanation.
Oh, sorry. This is the 4th guy I would just mentioned.
Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup.
Weekly bet. All 4 didn't hit last week. Those are
Cooper Kupp.
4 of the top TD scorers in the NFL.
Yeah.
Cooper Cup.
That's it.
It's Cooper Cup.
The shootout. TD parlay. So this is kind of a weekly bet here. Last week we got pretty close. We got Diggs and Gabe Davis, but then Kelsey, he almost scored.
You were getting cute last week with the 3.
That was a little cute. We're bringing it back down to 2. 2 players, 1 from each team from the highest scoring total from the week. And I think this one, it was just, I was thinking about it and I was like, who do I trust on the Chargers? Keenan's coming back. So I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with all those receivers. Eckler. He's been scoring a lot.
He's a dog. He's
a dog.
like many dogs.
And I think that when there's high scoring games, you can just plug in like the best player. He's probably going to score on one of the teams. And then I was like thinking on the Seahawks, and I bet Ken Walker to score a touchdown last week. So I was like,
who's due?
I was like, he's not due.
He's not.
He just scored. That's going to fuck me.
The carries.
And then I was like, who else is on the Seahawks? DK Metcalf, first name that came into my mind. Bang.
Bang.
There it is. There it is.
Questions asked.
It's DK.
There it is. And that's the parlay.
The shootout TD.
Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang.
Parlay.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to name that Hall of Famer this week. It is a quarterback. So Jimmy, break it down for us.
All right, guys, welcome back. After a long week, we're back with player 1. We got quarterbacks this week. Player 1 played for 13 years. He was 95 and 64. He had 33,462 passing yards, a 55.4 completion percentage, 199 touchdowns to 157 interceptions. He led the team to 17 game-winning drives. He won an MVP, 2 Pro Bowl appearances, and he was a Super Bowl champion. Player 2 played for 13 years. He was 62, 63, and he tied 4 times. He had 27,663 passing yards at a 50.1% clip, 173 touchdowns to 220 interceptions. He led 15 game-winning drives. He won an MVP and an Offensive Player of the Year. He went to 5 Pro Bowls. He was a first-team All-Pro once, second-team All-Pro 3 times, and a Super Bowl champion. Player 3 played for 11 years. He's 106, 57 and 1. He has 38,501 passing yards at 64.8 percentage. And he has 297 touchdowns to 90 interceptions. He's led 34 game-winning drives. He's won Offensive Player of the Year 3 different times. He's gone to 8 different Pro Bowls. And he's been second-team All-Pro once and a Super Bowl champion once.
Yeah, so basically, name that Hall of Famer. We don't know any of these players beforehand, obviously, and so we're gonna, hit it with the guesses. So
Yeah, so do you guys want me to just let you guys know, like, what era they played in?
yeah.
Okay, so player 1 played in the 90s, I want to say. He ended his careers in the early 2000s around, I want to say. Player 2 played in the 60s to 70s. Player 3 is the current player.
Okay, so I want to say player 3 is like Kirk Cousins, but then I saw the Super Bowl championship, and I'm like, that is not Kirk Cousins.
No, it is not. He also has not won 3 Offensive Player of the Years.
Yeah, I don't know, but I really want to say that the guy who's in the middle, player 2, is the Hall of Famer.
It's just a matter of who he is.
I mean, he has the 3 All-Pros.
What era was player 2 from again?
Player 2 is from the 60s to the late 70s.
Oh, wow.
He won a Super Bowl against the Colts.
It's the guy from the Jets, Joe Namath.
Joe Namath, yeah.
Joe Namath is player
Okay,
2, so
Joe
that's
Namath,
definitely the Hall
wow.
of Famer. So we've already named that Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that was
Joe
quick.
So now we just got to figure out who these other 2
yeah,
players are. I mean,
who are actually clearly way better than Joe Namath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
and
Fraudulent Hall of Fame career.
do you know what the most important stat is for a quarterback?
what?
Career wins and losses. QB stat. A lot of people say it's not. Very much so a quarterback stat.
It is a quarterback stat.
I'm just
Just,
kidding.
yeah.
I'm just
The
joking.
team doesn't matter at
I'm
all.
just joking.
He's just joking, guys.
So
34 game winning drives. I want to say that's Stafford.
It is not.
One-time Super Bowl. Oh, yes, he hasn't won 3 Offensive Player of the Years.
Think about 11 years. 2012.
right, I'm just trying to. I mean, that was not the Russell Wilson class, was it? Is it Russell Wilson?
It's Russell Wilson.
He's
Oh,
won 3
wow.
Offensive Player of the Years
Yes.
in the NFL.
That shocked me.
In the NFL.
Yes.
So is Russell Wilson
Wow.
going to be a Hall of Famer?
I'm quite
Probably.
surprised by
Probably.
that.
I mean, his touchdown to interception ratio is crazy.
Why is he won Offensive Player of the Year 3 times?
He
when
won
did
it
he
in
win
his
it?
second year.
Second year? He wasn't even good that year.
I don't know how. He's just.
He's a dog. He's a dog
Yeah.
when it comes to award races.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's got that,
Okay, so we've got Mr.
that
Unlimited
marketable style.
and then Player 1.
When did
Player one,
play?
I'll give a big hint. He's on TV right now, and he's kind of like an underrated quarterback, obviously.
Trent Dilfer.
Close.
I'm just kidding.
I
He didn't
mean,
win an MVP. Dan
Kurt Warner.
Orlovsky.
Not Kurt Warner, not Dan Orlovsky.
You don't think it's Dan?
Think like
He's on TV.
think of Belichick's like early teams that won a Super Bowl as he was like a defensive coordinator.
Oh. So that was when he was on the Giants?
Yeah,
Giants quarterback.
yeah. Think about a Giants quarterback.
Eli. Nope.
Earlier.
I know. I don't know like any Giants quarterbacks from earlier than that.
On TV, CBS.
Oh, Phil Simms.
Yeah, Phil
He
Simms.
was on the Giants?
Phil
Yeah.
Sims.
I had no idea.
Phil
won
Simms.
the
I thought he
MVP.
was on the
Phil
I thought he was
Simms
on
is
the
that
Bengals.
Hall of Famer. No,
Phil
he's not.
Sims is not a Hall of Famer. It's
No,
Joe
it's
Namath.
Joe Namath.
But
He's
he
the Hall
does
of
have
Famer.
way better stats than Joe Namath.
Yeah, that is kind of surprising to me. So
Kind of shocking. Oh god.
the name that Hall of Famer.
Oh god. It's hard to get off that screen. It's so awesome to look at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the name that Hall of Famer.
That was a pretty good segment.
We did well this week. I
Yeah.
feel like we got it really quickly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, quarterbacks, I think it's a little easier, but I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know Phil Simms was on the Giants.
Yeah.
He won a Super Bowl.
Who know he won a fucking Super Bowl?
Wait, so Jimmy, do
I
you have
know
your
him.
lock?
Let me check.
Here, the ticker's coming right now. Thursday night game, Saints at Airy Cardinals. Let's get you a lock this week, Jimmy.
I'm just gonna go with the Cardinals -2.5.
Oh wow.
Wow,
Fading.
fading.
Straight fading.
Fading our fade of the public.
I'm
So
going with the public.
He's going with the Cardinals.
we might be seeing Jimmy in the mask next
Yeah.
week. All right. I mean,
I think that's all we've got.
that is all we've got.
Who else is hoping that the Cardinals lose now?
Not me.
I am.
All right.
All right. That's it.
We
Peace.
will smell you later.